Good morning, Lagos. Thank you very much indeed for staying tuned here on Smooth 98.1. It's a pleasure to have you listening to us and being a part of the family. I'm Ayo Mairo Ese.
I am Valentine Ohu. Good morning.
And we have with us the one, the only. Today's one is a song.
Tega. Let's do the opera style.
Hey,
Tega. Hi, Tega.
Tega Supreme.
It's Champions League, guys. Bobby. Good morning, Lagos.
All right. So if you are a part of this family, the locker room family, then please make sure you send a message to register your attendance this morning. You can do that on WhatsApp 0809 444 0981.
And of course, Twitter is alive. So Smooth981 FM is our handle. The hashtag is lockerroom981. We're streaming live on YouTube. You know the handle. Smooth981 FM. Please subscribe.
Okay, so let's go into our stories for today. We start with the Super Falcons. I don't know if this is pleasant news or not pleasant news, but Super Falcons coach Thomas Dennerby has left the country unceremoniously over claims that some influential members of the Nigerian Football Federation, NFF, were interfering in his work. Dennerby complained that some NFF officials were making his job difficult for some selfish reasons. These officials ensured that some players who complained that they were being owed allowances and winning bonuses were shut out of the national team. These officials wield enormous power in the women teams. He got angry that these people had taken the activities to his team selection and decided the best thing to do was to go away. But we are trying to talk to him and address his concerns in the interest of the nation. This is according to a source.
Now I understand why Tega laughs hysterically sometimes when she sees some of the stories. This is very laughable.
Honestly,
Look,
hilarious.
Thomas Dennerby, the reports last year, just before the World Cup, sorry, the World Cup was this year, but late last year and just before the World Cup this year, that Thomas Dennerby was not really in charge of his team per se. There were still people that would tell him, why don't you play this person? Or why don't you use that person? And so he hadn't really been in charge of the team. But I think the extent to which you know how it is. You first of all you let somebody come to your house, they put their shoes on your chair, and you don't yell at them to take their dirty shoes off and throw it outside the door. You leave them. The next day they'll come to your house. They will come there, eat a bar soup on your couch. Use their dirty hands to paint your white couch with oil.
And use your cotton to clean their nose.
I use your cotton to clean.
Stop it.
That's exactly what was going to be is happening to him now. When they started, taking charge of his team with little suggestions, that's when he should have said, you know what, should I coach the team or do you want to coach the team? But I think he just came in, you know how it is, fresh chicken. He has to find out what is really going on. Didn't want to hurt anybody, didn't want to step on any toes, and then they started encroaching from there. Before it was suggestion, then it was an insistence. Now everything else, the whole team is scattered. So but it's something that the sports minister has spoken with. Ideally, sports minister shouldn't have this kind of power. But he's spoken with Thomas Dennerby, he's speaking with the NFF, and the NFF are going through their own struggle. Personally, different individuals in NFF have their own ICPC trouble. So there's a lot going on. But what it is that Nigeria has to play, or the Super Falcons have to play Cote d'Ivoire. Remember, they just played Algeria. They have to play Cote d'Ivoire. The team is coming into camp. The team has come into camp, rather, or most of the team. And so this is not the kind of quarrel that you can leave to simmer or say I want to settle later. So what it is that the NFF for now has brought in a new coach, Danjuma, who has come with, but they have to play for the friendly that they've paid for. So they have to do something. We can't be waiting for Thomas to finish vexing. But what what it is that Coach Jamunjuma has come in and he's collected the captain's armband from Desire Paranozi and he's given it to Asisa Toshola. So that's his own disruption. So again, this just goes to show how many, in fact, all this trouble happens only with the Super Falcons. Think about it. If they brought a new coach to the Super Eagles, would they just automatically switch captains? As if there's no problem. So there's a lot of politicking going on, and some people don't have the time. Like I said, they have other distractions to deal with. But what it is that the coach has come out to say this is what he's struggling with, and this is what he doesn't want anymore. And the new coach is bringing his disruption. So I don't know what the hope for the Super Falcon is. Because before we were complaining that they're not getting enough friendlies. Now they're playing friendlies, but the camp is in a disarray. I don't understand what's going on.
Right.
All right, so the two men with the most Grand Slam titles in tennis history, as Rafael Nadal and Roger Federer, will be among the star-studded Team Europe descending on Geneva, Switzerland, this Friday for the LAVER Cup, a team event pitting 6 players from Europe against 6 players from the rest of the world. Fresh off his 19th career Grand Slam title at the US Open, Nadal will be playing the LAVER Cup for the second time, having competed at the event in Prague in its inaugural year in 2017. In a statement, Nadal said, "I'm looking forward to the LAVER Cup and I'm very excited to be named to the team by our captain. I'll do my best to live up to the great performances we had in Prague."
Okay, first of all, Rafa Nadal, you're Federer's friend. You get rights for first refusal. If you say no before they invite somebody, if you don't answer, then they don't invite people. Stop talking as if it was one decision based on merit. So he just won the US Open. Let's pick him. No, that's not what happened. But what it is that it sets up for very good entertainment. I think the LAVER Cup starts on the 20th and ends on the 22nd. From the minute the LAVER Cup started in 2017, it blew us away. It's Europe versus the rest of the world, and it's not just that. It's the people involved in the different matches. I think 2018 wasn't the doubles with that Federer played with Djokovic wasn't as exciting as the doubles that Nadal played with Federer in 2017. So it's just there's just a different kind of chemistry between Nadal and Roger Federer that you wouldn't have anticipated seeing the rivalry that they had. I mean, especially earlier on in Rafa Nadal's career and when Roger Federer was supposed to be peaking. But what it is that those two have a kind of relationship that their fans can fight, but the two guys are all right. So, but I really want to see that. And this LAVER Cup, I say things to the influence of certain people. Roger Federer is not the most glamorous or flashy of people. He's not the most outspoken. He does talk, but he's not the most outspoken. But anything he puts his hands to, it just turns to gold. And the minute he puts his hands to this LAVER Cup and said, you know what, let's start doing this thing. It has become the most amazing thing that even the ATP now have to put it on their calendar.
Wow.
It wasn't original. It was a Roger Federer baby. But the ATP has now said, okay, let's take note of this and put it in the calendar. So anytime we'll have any other ATP tournament, let's look when the LAVER Cup is holding before we put this here. And he named it after his own, idol, who's Rod Laver, the tennis player. So it's just an amazing. I just can't wait to see. Every year is one of the most interesting weekends. I hope, and you know that I'm going to do this, Nigeria, Africa, the world, that they will start bringing women into it. For now, it's just the men. We are. For now, it's just the men. We are coming down. You know that I will definitely bring it up. Roger, so when is Serena playing this something with you people? We have to infuse the women. He started with the men. It's growing. It's now on the calendar. It's now. I had the awareness that it should have. Let's expand it.
I love it. I just had to point out that if you're watching on YouTube, the passion and the emotion with which Tega talks about the LAVER Cup and in particular Roger Federer is just beautiful. I want to start crying. Roger, I was like, this woman must meet Roger. There's nothing no two ways about it. All right, let's move from tennis to more football. Jurgen Klopp unhappy with Napoli penalty call in Liverpool defeat. So Klopp was less than pleased with the penalty decision, which helped Napoli to a 2-0 win over his Liverpool side in their Champions League group stage tie. Now, he said, for me, it's clear and obvious, no penalty, because Callejon jumps before he has any contact.
Okay. Calhoun called your name and you answered. That's what happened. Whether you like it or not, penalty. I think if the defender got the full ball as opposed to just swiping in the direction of the ball, maybe he could have had a case. Because yes, Calhoun noticed that ball has gotten away from him and he waited for the slightest of contact and said, "Thank you very much, my faithful servant," and he fell. But it wasn't for Jurgen Klopp. That shouldn't be the worry. And again, I would say this: it shouldn't be a worry that Liverpool lost their first match in the Champions League. They struggled like this last season. They still won the cup. So I mean, it's too early to say they will not qualify out of the group. It's a disappointing result.
I thought they had automatic entry as winners of the last.
And they're in the group, no. This is the group stage. But so it's too early to say they've lost their chance. There's no hope for them to make it. I know they would have preferred to start their title defense with a win to state your intent. But stating intent and winning the trophy are two different things. Don't kill yourself over that. But what it is that he will be worried about the display that they put up. They did dominate most of the match. They did have chances to go ahead and win. Koulibaly was like an ancestral spirit there, just defending any and everything. Amazing defender. I've never seen, even when he makes an error, he gets up in time to cover up for that error. Fantastic defending. But what it is that the chances they created, the way they exposed Napoli sometimes, and they did not take advantage of that, would be what would cause Jurgen Klopp to worry. Because he's as a manager, he will not just be looking at his team from game to game. He'll be looking at them over the season. What if we face tougher opposition and we don't get as many chances? Are you going to tell us that we're going to lose that match? So that's what he'll be worried about. Defensively, he would also question a few things, especially the second goal. I do not understand why everybody was just standing and watching Llorente. Like they're looking at him and thinking, "Oh boy, you have a new haircut." And the guy just ran past them. He's not the quickest man in the box, and he's one of the tallest people. So he's not like he's invisible. And he ran past you, takes charge and scores a goal. So those are the things he'll be questioning, not necessarily that he lost to Napoli, but over the course of the season, is this how we're going to be giving up away goals? That's what he's going to be worried about. I understand that he's angry a little bit, but that's football now.
That's football.
You don't have to intend to foul. All you need to do is for somebody to play you. Because as a footballer now, it's not just about playing the ball, it's also about playing the player that is there. So Calhoun saw an opportunity and he took advantage.
Took it.
Don't cry.
Chimobi Victor says, "Congrats to my darling Valencia for getting the maximum point against this noisemaker Chelsea team. Special thanks to Barkley for losing that penalty. While for Napoli, they didn't disappoint me at all. Earlier on, he had said the Super Falcons complained they're not playing friendly matches. But now, this is not the case. That is why I'm advocating for Tega to be in charge of affairs. We will surely see a lot of changes."
Want me to set the glass house on fire?
Okay, so we're going to break now. When we come back, we'll talk about that Chelsea match and a few other sporting stories in the locker room 981. Stay tuned.
I thought you would read a few more.
And the others were Chelsea stories.
And we'll read when we come back. We'll not do Chelsea because of the 2 minutes we had.
Yeah.
So Neymar and Pep Guardiola. Those are stories are back to back, Abi? No, you can't do back to back. Please, what? Okay, so yeah, people, we are going to move the very last story. We're going to move that very last story up to. Hey, why is it not touch screen? I don't like all these systems that not with the time.
Atletico, Simeone.
We're going to move it up scroll to before PSG. So what will happen is you will take the Man City, I will take the Atletico, then you'll take the PSG.
So the next story is we've done Jurgen Klopp is next.
Yeah, no, we've done Jurgen Klopp.
So Chelsea.
So Chelsea is
next. So remind me again, 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Okay. Well, we're doing well today. It was just that last story. Yeah. No, it was which story was it? Roger.
Yeah.
I was just thinking of taking
a level cup is very sweet.
Your love is so deep. But the good thing is that because it took adverts early, we still have that 1 minute, 2 minutes after this one.
But still remind me.
Yeah, I will.
This TV being off is putting me off. I have a variant strain of OCD. I think Valentine sneezed
Where's
on
the
me.
air put on this
I
thing?
didn't.
Yes, you did. The way you are behaving, it's like you sneeze on me. Shut up.
That's why I don't usually. I remember on air, and I don't want to risk putting it on because I know that it's the volume might be up.
Can't believe I can only buy referee the match. I didn't last night, 2 a.m. I couldn't sleep.
Why?
I don't know. And then I was looking for food and there was no food. And I was just so upset.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to try.
Why are you upset? Why were you upset?
Because I couldn't sleep and I knew when I was supposed to wake up this morning.
So you know what's making you not sleep?
I don't know. She's interested. Just say yes. You're too old to be picking. You. Just say yes.
Yes.
What's the worst case scenario?
What's the worst
It
that
won't
could
work
happen?
out. Yeah, exactly. After a month or two, you realize that it's not working out. You move on.
Can you move on?
Soldier come, soldier go.
Exactly. What she said.
Oh, be doing body counts, body counts. Not in body counts in heaven. No. Let me just let you know now. Every small thing you worry.
Okay.
Penalty.
Wait, I'm coming. I'm like, okay, we're back. Okay. It's nice, but this second part is very lovely. But the English, you have to reduce it. Okay, we're coming back now. Mike's up, straight like 3, 2, 1, and we're live. It's Locker Room 981. I'm Ayo Mairo Ese.
And I'm Valentine Ohu. Good morning.
And
Tega Onojaife.
yes, you're not going to say your
No,
name.
I wasn't.
You will soon leave this studio. No, we won't tell him. We will tell him to stand and face the wall.
I use my hands possibly. All right, let's talk Chelsea. All right, Valencia's gate crashed. Valencia actually gate crashed Frank Lampard's managerial ball in the Champions League by earning a moral boosting 1-0 win at Chelsea on Tuesday. That was yesterday after Ross Barkley spawned the chance to equalize by missing the target from the penalty spot. The Spain forward Rodrigo Moreno gave the visitors the lead against the run of play in the 74th minute of the game. Chelsea continued to threaten and were awarded the penalty after a VAR review spotted a handball by Valencia defender Daniel Was. According to Lampard, he told reporters that we shouldn't lose the game. Clearly, we had a fair few chances, and then the penalty which we missed. We have to keep our heads up. There is a long way to go, and there's a lesson that teams at this level can hurt you.
Okay, so the first thing he's saying is we shouldn't have lost the game. You had good chances, so did Valencia. So stop making too much noise. Yes, I know a few of your chances look more clear cut, but the fact that you didn't take advantage of them just also means that you're probably not ripe for the stage. But I think the most hilarious for me was the penalty and his excuse after the penalty. And I've said this about Frank Lampard. He's the kind of person that would oppose confrontation. He'd rather not be involved in a confrontation. And maybe the stance he took was a bit of a PR because he comes on. So Ross Barkley, there's a penalty given. I think Willian steps up and wants to take the penalty. Ross Barkley's like, no, I'm gonna take this penalty. I'm gonna put it in the back of the net. I will send this goalkeeper to this, that. You know, Jorginho comes to talk to him. There's a little bit of a quarrel. At the end of the day, he puts the ball on the penalty spot and then kicks it over the bar. Now, Frank Lampard comes to say, and so first of all, if he had scored the penalty, people will be like, that's confidence.
Yeah.
He took the ball and he buried it. But you missed after all the fight. So I mean, Frank Lampard comes up and says that Ross Barkley is the designated penalty taker. He was taking in preseason. Here's what is tricky about that. Ross Barkley last penalty that he scored was in 2016. So who has been taking all the other penalties for Chelsea from 2016 till now? So don't lie that kind of lie. because we're not there in preseason now, we can't defend ourselves and say it's not true. Do you understand? You can say, oh, we don't really have a designated penalty taker yet. And so sometimes there are few people there are few choices that we have, and so sometimes there's a trouble. It's something we'll sort out in the dressing room. Ashe, come out and say he's designated penalty taker that you took in preseason. So we cannot say we were there now, because that preseason we're not there in the dressing room, we're not there in training ground, so we don't know when you took this kind of decision. So it's just ridiculous PR that he was trying to do. But what it is that as soon as he missed that penalty, notice that his teammates did not go to tap him and say, oh, we're so sorry. Like sometimes when you miss a penalty, your teammates will come out, they all just look at you like, wait, let's enter dressing room. You see my red eye. So, but what it is that Valencia came in to Stamford Bridge, did the job they needed to do. It wasn't the most brilliant of performances. Sometimes they were lucky, but what happened was the one chance that they got, they took it, they buried it, and they're walking away with all 3 points. So Frank Lampard has it all to do. Again, I wouldn't say that this is the end of Chelsea in the Champions League. Yeah. It's still game 1. Dicey, but it's still game 1. So Frank Lampard can only build from here. That's just it.
Ochuko was saying that Chelsea under Frank Lampard played good football, but the inexperience of the players was their undoing. Okay, so let's look at City's defensive crisis. Stones out for 4 to 5 weeks. So Pep Guardiola has revealed Manchester City are down to just one fit central defender after John Stones added to their injury woes. Guardiola told a news conference yesterday, it's a big challenge. We've just one centre defender, but I believe a lot in the spirit and commitment, and everybody must make a step forward to solve the problem that we have.
Okay, and to solve the problem that we have? Now we are bringing in somebody new too.
Yeah,
just like the Guardiola will bring someone in new.
It's the real
to deal with this story. Take over.
Thank you very much, Tega. Okay, this is it. Vincent Company left City, and it's all who will take his feet, who will play the right back. And here comes Aymeric Laporte. He was doing well until injury come. Injury is part of the game, is inevitable, and that is it. Now John Stones coming out from muscular injury, going back again. The pairing of Otamendi and John Stones, I don't really go well with it. It's kind of a calamity. Now, one is out and one is remaining. Who will pair the other is a question. And Pep Guardiola has come out to say, okay, we just have to play together. He's trying to our formation, fine, we don't have 2 central defenders. We just have to do with what we have. And, it's not a big deal for Pep Guardiola, because I've seen in 2009 in Barcelona, where he paired Yaya Toure at the centre back, and he did well. Then what is his name? This Liverpool guy that left Liverpool 2010, Mascherano, also playing centre back for him. So it's something that he can do, and he's thinking of Fernandinho doing that. It's a very dicey one. It's a risk for him, because Liverpool, topping him and everything just going out on his head. Then Champions League without his central back is a very big deal for him. So I think he's going to do well. He's just going to manage the player he have left with him, and he's going to do well with it.
All right, thank you so much, Okpeyemi. We'll move on to our next story, and a few people here on YouTube have some things to say. Ojo says, yes, Chelsea were good, but Valencia showed more seriousness in their play. The Roger story touched me, especially the way Tega talks. You're not the only one. Same here. Bia is asking you, Tega, any word for Messi?
Any?
No, Messi is Messi now. Why do I need a word for him?
Well, Atletico Madrid coach Diego Simeone on Tuesday hailed Juventus star Cristiano Ronaldo as a beast in front of the goal ahead of the 2 sides Champions League group stage meeting. The 2 teams meet again in their the campaign opener at the Wanda Metropolitano on Wednesday, that's today. And in his words, Simeone said of Ronaldo, it's difficult to prepare something against a player like him. And he's a beast in front of the goal. He has tremendous records. The situation with him near the area causes danger and needs attention. He isn't easy to control.
Yeah, and Simeone's bruises from Cristiano Ronaldo are still fresh. In fact, it's not bruises, wound. It was deep wound that affected vital organs and caused him to crash out of the Champions League last season. So it's not like he's far. the pain is present and current. And so Diego Simeone is the right person that will tell you that, look, that guy is a beast in front of the goal, and he means it because he's seen it happen one time too many. Cristiano Ronaldo changed clubs but still brought out the same damage. So Diego Simeone would do very well to be wary of him. What makes Diego Simeone struggle a little bit, especially they're coming off a loss over the weekend, and it showed how limited, how there's no strength in depth in their own squad, Atletico Madrid, to even compete in the La Liga, not to talk of to add Champions League to it. But what it is that his team is built on structure, and sometimes even if you're built on structure with hard work and discipline, the way his teams are, you will get the results. Yes, once or twice there'll be losses, but most in general, you'll come away with the results. So he's in a good place with his team to get good results. Juventus, on the other hand, have the players and the strength in depth in squad. So when you look at this on paper, you'd say this should be an easy win for Juventus, but it's not always so. So I expect a very fiery contest, not necessarily in from goal to goal mouth action. I think especially in the intensity with the way both teams will try to cancel out themselves. But what it is that Diego Simeone is aware of the threat. He's not thinking of outscoring Juventus, which is why he's going to set up again, as usual, to be very defensive. Sit deep. And if you have a chance on the counter, release Diego Costa to bite somebody. You can say that literally or metaphorically, but just release him. So let's see how it goes.
Get to biting. All right, so no Neymar, Cavani or Mbappe for PSG. PSG will be without their entire first-choice strike force of Neymar, Edinson Cavani and Kylian Mbappe when they host Real Madrid. Oh dear. Neymar is suspended after insulting match officials last season, while Cavani and Mbappe are both injured.
Neymar's down from 3-game strike to 2.
To 2, yeah. So politics is working. I want to be a politician.
Okay, like I said, injury is part of the game. We are talking about PSG. Although Real Madrid too have their own crisis, they have so many players going out on injury. So I think it's equal on the both sides. And even though if both sides have their quality player playing on ground, I think Real Madrid will be at head. But for now, it's like something. It's not really thing that we should talk about because they are suffering too. Real Madrid, they have 2 wins, 2 draws out of 4 matches. PSG has a better side ahead of Real Madrid. They have 4 wins and 1 loss. So going into this match, they won't have their key players. There's a Choupo-Moting, there's a Di Maria. I think they can do the damage. But for Real Madrid, I don't really see who can really do the damage. I think the game will not be as suitable as we want, but let's see how it pans out.
Yes, I'll be watching Atletico PSG. I'll be watching Atletico Juventus. I don't understand. No Marcelo, no Modric, no... In fact,
no Gareth Bale.
No, Gareth Bale may come in, but nobody really.
No Luka Modric.
On one side, on the other side. Who are we watching? I did not pay for anonymous names.
Football is a beautiful game.
In Toro. I know it's a team sport and we should watch good teams, but I'll be watching Atletico Madrid. I will check on PSG, Real Madrid. You understand? Let's not be as if I don't know what's going on.
You have to do it.
Vivi from Ketu says everyone should just calm down. The same Liverpool won with 2-0 against Liverpool last season. We won with 2-0. Okay, all right. Yeah, welcome with 2-0 locker room. Locker room crew should please relax. That's how we welcome champions. Chelsea is not ready to even look at the cup. Talk more of winning it. Messi saved Barca. If not, it could be worse.
No, it was Sturgeon that saved Barca. Messi didn't do anything.
Biggie wrote the message like he was just getting off the bed. Emma from Akoka says, sad thing about the Champions League for me is that I can't even troll or drag any team. That's not good. That's not... GOT is watching people, no? God is watching. That's what he meant to write. Just allowing my savagery to waste.
Honestly, you can't solve. They
Like
rob
that.
you.
You
of the
understand?
right,
You
yeah.
can't abuse people that went to the
I'm
party when you're not
telling
even
you.
invited.
Princess Tega, big people, please don't say that this is just a game. One for Barca too. Their problems are very deep and beyond what we see. You're crying. I agree with you regarding Liverpool and Chelsea, though.
Yeah. Barcelona's own. Their problems start from the top. I've told you, sack Valverde, take out Bartomeu.
Yes.
Your problems will be solved. Because I don't understand that midfield that has no structure. The defense, because the midfield has no structure, the defense is easy attacked and it will collapse under that. And then going forward, he doesn't know who is playing role. What is Frankie De Jong doing? Where is Griezmann? Where is Fati? Where's Suarez? There's just a lot of it's like Valverde just throws up his player on the pitch and tell them do what you know how to do.
All right.
Sheriff Oluwaleke, safe journey to Ibadan. He said Lampard got a baptism of fire at the debut as a coach in the Champions League. And Frank, welcome to the real world.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Sheriff. Thanks to everyone who sent in messages this morning, messages on WhatsApp, on YouTube, and on Twitter. Thank you to Okbayemi at the real Okbayemi on Twitter. Was Tega at Tega Supreme and her work with ladies in sports at Elias International. When FEDERER starts the women's version of the LAVER Cup, Tega is going to go, definitely. And from us here, we're still here, Valentine and myself,
Ayo.
9 o'clock. We're here with Lagos Talks 901. Let's talk CBN and our money. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
CBN is holding your money.